Hello and welcome to this edition of Iron Sports, and I am JEREMAIN Brown. In this edition, we continue our look at renovation and plans for Caymanas Park with stakeholder Andrew Azar. We also take to the courts with Badminton to see what they're serving up, their developmental plans and more. And also we have our Champs Flashback feature. As usual, let us know what you think by heading to our Facebook page, Iron Sports JA. Stick around. We'll take a break, but when we come back, we're going to be creating a racket with badminton. Soon come. Right then, welcome back to Iron Sports. In 2004, Nigella Saunders brought the sport of badminton to the forefront after becoming the first and only Jamaican to take the date, to represent the country in the sport at the Olympic Games. Ever since her departure from the sport, the search has been on in earnest to find the next potential candidate. However, what has hindered this process? Why has there not been another Olympian since Nigella Saunders? Well, here to discuss that and more is Antonia Bell, General Secretary of the Jamaica Badminton Association, and also national player Dennis Coke. Gentlemen, welcome to Iron Sports. Let's get right on court with it. Antonio, let me start with you. Since Nigella, we haven't had another Jamaican competing at the Olympic Games in badminton since 2004. Does the association see this as a stymied thing, where there hasn't been the kind of growth that you'd have wanted to at least by now, to have had another player on that scale?
Well, everything is in perspective because, going to the Olympics is one of the major things, but it's not the only major thing that the association seeks to do. The development of our players is also very paramount. However, stymied, I wouldn't say stymied. It has been quite some time now, but what I think that the path that we're on now and the development process that we're unfolding, I think it augurs well for the players now on the cusp of an Olympic berth. But also remember, to get a player qualified for the Olympics is no mean task. And it's not anything that is domiciled to Jamaica in terms of the difficulty, because a Canadian who actually came here and won the mixed doubles, Toby Eng, he said, when you calculate what it takes to go to the Olympics as a player, even as a singles or a doubles player, it is almost the equivalent of paying for a PhD. It takes a lot of money, because we only have one international tournament that we can afford to stage here right now.
And we're going to be getting to that.
Right,
as
but
well.
to qualify for the Olympics is not only just winning. You have to be winning and playing consistently at tournaments. If you're alone, you can imagine what that is. Yeah. And the strategy we're trying to use now is that we really have to use who is at the top of the heap and try to see if we can push them forward. Yeah. And Dennis and Anthony, McNee, Samuel and Gareth and Catherine are those now. And even then, we still have to make a decision as to who we will support or push forward, because it's a lot of money.
Well, Dennis is here on set with us, and we're pushing him forward. Dennis, in terms of your own development and progress and looking at qualifying for the 2020 Olympic Games, what is that looking like, and how confident are you at this point in time that you can do it?
Well, for me, right now, everything is going all right. And I see where the association is trying, and we appreciate what they are doing for us. Because gone by then, we weren't really playing as much tournament as recent now. You know what I mean? So we really give thanks for that, and working closely with Coach Neil Lewis, who always believe in us and always giving us the courage that we can do it and stuff like that. So those things keep you motivating, and we're just fighting the same way.
It's always good to get a perspective from the players. You're on court and you have the challenges day to day. What's the biggest challenge for you personally in terms of wanting to reach even further in badminton?
Well, for me, is basically like work. I can't really keep a job because of the the sport. 'Cause obviously we've been traveling and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So to keep a job, it's really dormant, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's really challenging to finance myself in terms of buying gas to go training and stuff like that. So things like that kind of hamper a whole heap of my time, you know what I mean? So things like that we need to work on and stuff like that.
Sir Bell, how does the association deal with that in particular? I mean, the players, semi-pro, maybe one or two of them professionals. How are you able to find the financial assistance for them or to aid them, in this particular regard?
Okay, it's actually twofold. We get subsistence from SDF and a lot of assistance from the Jamaica Olympic Association. However, we can't afford to use the funds that we get there to like for the challenges that Dennis would face, which many players face, right? We can't really use the funds for that. So we have another avenue, another area, fundraising area that we use to try and deal with that, because the money that goes there is really for the traveling and their per diem and stuff like that when they travel, and also with the development of the other players, setting the platform. So we can't use those funds to really offset that. So we try to manage that a different way, right? Now, I've always said to our senior players, they have to look at themselves as companies, right? They have to look at themselves as unprofessionals. So that is the area now, the mind shift that I'm trying to take them through, so that you have to get a lot of the money that the very rich badminton players internationally have. They don't make that money on prize money. That is sponsorship, brand ambassadorship, stuff like that, which is the areas we are looking to, yes, and endorsements. So we have to look in that area.
Have you been able to approach even local companies, local entities to sponsor the national players? Because they are doing well. The CAC games, for instance, regionally,
right.
Jamaica usually does well. Dennis, Gareth, Catherine. So how have you been able to create that situation where local companies and entities can come on board and sponsor them individually?
Well, we have been creating that platform, and we want to say a big thanks to Mayberry Investments, who actually bought one of the courts that we used at international tournaments. And so they have taken the time to buy into stuff like that. Proven has actually sponsored players before to go to tournaments and on a smaller scale. And it is unfolding, it is happening, it's being created. We have to realize in the landscape that we are, that the country views badminton as a minor sport. Right. We are trying to change that mindset to know that there's a value proposition here for badminton. Speaking
of changing that mindset, the Jamaica International Badminton Tournament comes up, and that's sort of a fundraiser for you. It's March 6th to 10. Right. Some 26 countries will be represented here in Jamaica, in Kingston. What is that looking like in terms of the preparation quickly?
Well, we're almost on autopilot now. It's the 5th year. We have it down to a science. Our chairperson is Terry Walker, one of the best organizers I've ever seen in this side of the hemisphere. She has everything already organized. She actually leaves next week to go to Abu Dhabi with the Special Olympics. She has everything in place already, and we're just marching to her beat. But everything is basically ready. The various associations have been contacting us and setting in their itineraries so we can pick up, because we offer that service too to them. Once they stay at the official hotel, right, we're going to pick them up at the airport and shuttle them back and forth to the venue and to the hotel.
Dennis, how ready are you to face players from countries like Azerbaijan, there's Israel, Luxembourg, Belgium, and of course regional countries, Mexico, Guyana, Brazil, even Denmark?
Well, for me, I'm always ready, you know what I mean? Since recent, went to Peru and stuff like that, and I had a few things that I had to work on, and since I came back, I've been working. So, you know what I mean, coming the 6th to the 10th, just going to go out there and just focus and just, keep blazing.
Yeah. All right, that is Gok, a national badminton player, and Antonio Bell, General Secretary of the Jamaica Badminton Association, and will be there at the international tournament.
For some surprises
yes.
from Jamaica.
All right, we'll definitely be following. All right, we'll take a break here on IN Sports, and when we come back, we're going to be discussing some horse racing. Soon come.